Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Warrior Code International, Glory 104. What I think about that event, what do I think about the fights? I'm going to give you my opinion, my analysis. I'm going to be objective. I'll try not to be emotional. Muhammad Tamin versus Errol Koning. In my opinion, that was a very interesting matchup, a very interesting fight. I'm very happy for Muhammad Tamin, although in the past we did have a bit of a disagreement because I did an interview with him in June of 2024 and he was about to fight on the following day, so it was at the Glory weigh-ins. And I asked him because at that moment he had already lost, I believe, 3 times in a row, and he had just moved to the gym of coach Khaled. So I asked Muhammad Amin, how do you deal with the negativity which comes from the outside? How do you deal with the negative voices, with the critics, with the people who don't believe in you? Something like that, something along those lines. And Muhammad Amin, he kind of got mad at me and he told me, look, I'm going to be very brutal, very honest. You, the media, you're always trying to create a sensation, but in this case, you could have focused on something more positive. I've got a new coach. I'm on a positive note at the moment, so you could have focused on that. But you, the media, are always looking for something to create a sensation. So that's pretty much what he said in that particular case. I'm not exactly sure what exactly, but you know, we had a bit of a disagreement and. Look, I respect him a lot. I respect Muhammad Amin. I think he's a very complete fighter. I think he's a very, very heavy hitter. He's a big guy. He's a professional. He's a man who does not quit, does not give up. Although he did have some downs, plenty of losses in the recent, 2 years, in the last one and a half, 2 years. Still, he doesn't quit. He keeps on fighting. He is looking for his success, for his happiness, and I respect that. And in terms of his performance, as I told you, the left straight, the right straight, he was placing them very well. The calf kicks he was placing very well. The left hook was landing very, very beautifully. The right high kick was effective. You know, Muhammad is a very complete fighter. He's powerful, he's technical. He does have a very well-developed Dutch style of kickboxing. And it was a good performance. Errol Koning did have his moments. He landed some heavy mid-kicks. He's got a very, very, very powerful left mid-kick. But in general, apart from the first round, it was visible that Muhammad Amin was the more dominant fighter and he well-deservedly got the victory. So congratulations on Muhammad Amin. And I respect the fact that he dared to be vulnerable and honest. He mentioned that he had sold his car, that financially things were not going his way. Obviously, he and his girlfriend, they broke up. So he has been through a lot, and I respect that he's honest enough to admit that. And even though he's been going through tough times, he does not quit. He keeps on going. He's looking for the victory, and it came. The victory came. So happy for him. Congratulations, Muhammad. And respect for Errol Koning because he's 39. He's definitely past his prime. He's a solid fighter. He's explosive. He's powerful. He's got, I believe, 6 kids. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the man he's a family man. He's a hardworking man. He also recently got his taxi driving license. So the man is a hard worker, a solid fighter, an experienced fighter. So big respect to both of them. The next fight, Peposhi versus Ibanes. Obviously, a one-sided performance. As I told you in my prediction, I wouldn't say a mismatch, but I did expect Peposhi to dominate the fight. Peposhi is just too complete. He throws too much volume, too many shots, too many strikes. He puts too much pressure, and I knew that Ibanes, who is not such an active fighter, who does not throw that many shots, would struggle with that. And Peposhi overwhelmed him with left high kicks, with right high kicks, with shots to the body, with shots to the head, with calf kicks, low kicks, front kicks, just high volume, unpredictable, aggressive, putting pressure, just a typical Peposhi fight and a great performance. Well-deserved, he got the victory. Well-deservedly, he got the victory. Happy for him, and he also called for a title shot. I truly believe he deserves it. Obviously, he first needs to go through the tournament, but you know, Peposhi is a very, very solid fighter. He is very complete, and although he did have a difficult start at Glory, he lost 3 times in a row. You can see that he's been growing as a fighter. He's very, very composed, complete, aggressive, technical. Just the man is a phenomenal fighter. In my opinion, the most entertaining fighter in Glory. So I wish him all the best, and he needs to keep on going that way because he does have a very bright future. Also, he's very young. I believe he was born in 2001, so he's 23, 24 years old. Very young, and already very experienced. So all the best to Peposhi, all the best to Ibanes, who is also a technical fighter. I love the knees. He's got a very beautiful left knee, a very beautiful left and right check hook, but he was not at the level of Peposhi, and that's just the truth. He needs to go back to the drawing board and keep on going. Next fight, guys. Miguel Tindach against Kutukcu. Obviously, Kutukcu took the fight on a short notice, 1 day notice. That's completely not enough to prepare, of course. And you know, it was complete domination for Miguel Tindach. I mean, that right knee, the aggressiveness, the combinations, the speed, the level changing, the power, the fight IQ, the timing, just a phenomenal performance by Miguel Tindach. I mean, when Kutukcu would walk forward, he would get caught with the mid kick or with the knee. Also, that situation, I believe, in the end of the third round, where Miguel Tindach completely unloaded just so many punches to his opponent, fast, explosive, head, body, just very aggressive, very technical, very powerful, man. Tindach is an absolute animal. He's also very experienced, although he's still very young. And a beautiful performance. I would like to see Kutukcu again in glory. I believe that he does deserve a proper training camp. I believe that he stood his ground as much as he could. He gave his best, so that deserves respect. But it was a mismatch. Obviously, 1 day preparation, that's not enough. And especially against Tindach, who is just a very explosive, dangerous fighter. Yeah, it wasn't enough. Beautiful performance by Tindach, beautiful combinations, beautiful knees, beautiful counter mid kicks, a lot of power, a lot of technique, phenomenal fight. So the future is very, very bright for Miguel Tindach. Levi Richters versus Nasipov. Well, Nasipov outstruck Levi Richters in the first round, and I told you that Nasipov is a very technical boxer. I did have very high expectations of Nasipov. I thought he would win the fight. He won the first round, he lost the second, and in the third, that beautiful knee placed by Levi Richters. Levi is probably also one of the most entertaining fighters to watch, one of the most technical heavyweights in the world, not only in kickboxing, but in general in all disciplines. I mean, his ability to throw a spinning back fist out of nowhere, his ability to throw a spinning back kick out of nowhere, see his ability to throw a jumping knee, a jumping scissor knee out of nowhere. He's so unpredictable and so technical for a heavyweight, and he works with all the weapons, and he's just so dangerous that yeah, I expected Levi to lose the fight, but once again he proved that he's a phenomenal fighter, and very beautiful jumping scissor knee, beautiful knockout. I'm not sure if correct me if I'm wrong, was it a scissor knee, was it just a normal knee, correct me if I'm wrong, but Levi is a very humble guy, very technical kickboxer, extremely explosive, a hard worker, a true professional, not a fan of trash talk, but when he steps in the ring, he just speaks with his kicks and fists. And well deservedly, he got knocked out against a very solid opponent. I still have a very high opinion of Nasipov, who is really, really technical. I mean, his ability to be so calm, relaxed, to box so technically, to hit and not get hit, his distance management, he's he's got a bright future, and he's only 23 years old. That's also impressive. So the future is bright for Nasipov. Nabil Hashev versus Leyduni. Nabil did have a good first round, put very good pressure on Leyduni, landed some beautiful uppercuts, beautiful right overhands, looked good in there. He looked good in there, especially in the first round. But Leyduni showed a lot of technique in the second and third rounds, and his lateral movement, his ability to fight walking backwards, to land these left straight shots, left hooks. You know, he is a very, very technical fighter, very good distance management, very beautiful movement, and yeah, well deservedly, Leyduni got the victory. Many people have been criticizing Leyduni, or used to criticize Leyduni, that he did not belong to the glory ring. I myself was also a little bit skeptical when it came to Leyduni, especially after his loss against Rico Verhoeven. But Sofian Leyduni is a very technical fighter, and you know, he makes great use of his boxing, his lateral movement, his footwork is phenomenal. He hits without getting hit, and I think his fight IQ is very, very high. And yes, he did lose the first round, but he came back in the second and third rounds and showed his beautiful boxing, beautiful footwork, beautiful head movement, beautiful general movement, and well deservedly he got the victory against Nabil Hashev, who is growing as a fighter, who is improving, who used to get criticized a lot about cuddling too much, about hugging his opponents, but I think he's doing this way less, especially in the last 2 fights. He's been doing that way less, and I think Nabil is growing as a fighter. I think that he does have a bright future. He's very young in the game, I believe 23 or 24 years of age, so Nabil does have a great future, and he just needs to keep on going forward. I think that if he gets lighter, he will be even more dangerous. That's my personal opinion. But I think he's a very dangerous fighter in the pocket. He's got a very beautiful right low kick. He was actually also throwing mid kicks yesterday, so applause for that. But Nabil needs to keep on working hard and just lose a little bit of weight. I think that if he loses a little bit of weight, he will be even more explosive, more technical, and I think that will make him even more dangerous because he does have the potential. He combines the body and head very well. The right uppercut is beautiful. The right overhand is beautiful. The left hook is solid. The body shots are heavy. The right low kick is also very solid. So, you know, use your weapons. And with a little bit of a weight loss, he can be even more dangerous. That's my personal opinion. So let's see how that plays out. Next fight, Cvetićanin and Nechita. I mean, Milos Cvetićanin is easily top 3 most entertaining fighters in Glory. I would say that he, Levi Richters, and Barry and Peposhi are the most entertaining fighters in Glory Kickboxing. Beautiful performance. I mean, that spinning hook, heel kick. That's the word. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Spinning heel kick. He plays it very well. And, you know, he's just very good on the inside, the way he rotates his body, 1, 2, 3, 4, bam. So combining body and head, very beautiful inside boxing, explosive, powerful, technical, solid left hook, a wide variety of kicks which he can implement and use. He can always surprise you with with a high kick, with a spinning back kick, with a spinning heel kick. Just, he's very complete as a fighter, very technical, explosive, unpredictable, also a man's man, just very strong mentally, very, yeah, just unbreakable. I would say unbreakable. You know, the guy is very solid between the ears, very mentally strong, and a great performance against Nechita. Nechita is a good boxer. He can punch very well, but he needs to kick more. He needs to become more of a kickboxer. But in general, it was an interesting fight, but Milos is just very complete, physically strong, explosive, can surprise you at all times, fights very well in the pocket, just great fighter, very explosive. Just, I think that a fight between Cvetićanin and Khbabez would be very interesting. But Khbabez wants to fight against Verhoeven, so let's see how that plays out. But step for step, beautiful performance for Cvetićanin. And then we move on to the next fight, which was Oppoic and Kenna. Yeah, beautiful performance by Oppoic, very solid calf kicks, very effective with the calf kicks, beautiful uppercuts, beautiful jabs. Just, Rade Oppoic is a very complete fighter, and I've mentioned that many times. He possesses all the weapons. He's tall, rangy, just a very complete fighter with a lot of experience. Although he's only 28 years of age, Rade Oppoic is a very complete fighter, and it was a good performance, very good performance. He just completely outstruck his opponent, Kenna, and landed, as I mentioned, very beautiful uppercuts, very beautiful jabs, very beautiful calf kicks, completely destroyed the calf of his opponent. So dominant victory for Rade Oppoic. And if you look at the semi-finals, or at the finals of the two tournaments, of the two four-man tournaments, Oppoic versus Cvetićanin, yeah, Cvetićanin put a lot of pressure, fought very well in the pocket, very explosive as usual, and Rade struggled to deal with those situations in the pocket. Obviously, Oppoic is the taller fighter, so he would rather have Cvetićanin at a further distance, but Cvetićanin managed to get in the pocket, and he was not gun shy. He was throwing plenty of shots, high volume shots, and yeah, he was very effective. Beautiful performance by Milos Cvetićanin, and he well deservedly got the victory against his fellow Serbian. They showed mutual respect. Obviously, they're brothers. They are flying back to Serbia together, so, you know, it's very unfortunate when friends have to fight against each other, but that's professional sport. You know, it happens. But both of them have a bright future in Glory, and I personally think that Cvetićanin needs to fight for the title in the 95 kilogram division. Of course, he needs to finish the tournament first, and then we'll see. But Cvetićanin is a very big In Dutch they say aanwinst. A very big, a very big win for Glory. It's great that he competes at Glory, and he's an absolute attraction, and it's great to see him fight. And Rade Oppoic, I believe, has a very bright future, and he just needs to keep on going forward because he's a very, very solid fighter. And let's see how the future unfolds for Rade Oppoic. The other semi-final, by the way, Levi Richter's, not semi-final but final, Levi Richter's against Sofian Laiduni. Obviously, very interesting matchup, and Laiduni once again surprised everybody and got the victory against Levi Richter's. But I'm not surprised because Laiduni is a very, very technical fighter. He really does possess a very high fight IQ. So it did not surprise me that he got the victory because he is really technical. And that knockdown, I believe, in the second round, you know, that left hand, he places it very well. He moves his hand, his head is off of the center line, so he goes to the right and places that left straight. He places it very well. So Laiduni is a very, very technical boxer, very skilled, very good movement. And Levi Richter's did have his moments. You know, he landed, I believe, one very beautiful left high kick. Levi does have his moments. He's always very dangerous in every fight. He can, you know, he shows beautiful techniques, and Levi is a phenomenal fighter. But I agree with the decision, and I think that Sofian Laiduni is also a candidate for the heavyweight title. I believe that he does deserve a title shot against Verhoeven. Of course, we have to see how the tournament will play out because there are many fights to take place, but Laiduni is a solid fighter, and he has improved a lot. Ever since that loss against Rico Verhoeven, Laiduni has truly improved, has become way more aggressive, way more dangerous, lands way more shots, way sharper, crisper boxing. So good to see that Laiduni is growing as a fighter. And Levi did lose, but you know, he's never been in a boring fight. He's a truly technical fighter, very explosive, does have a fighter's heart, and yeah, good job by Levi. Good job by Levi Richters. Then Hamushi and Brown, yeah, obviously Hamushi got too emotional after that knockdown. Was it a real knockdown? Well, look, for 1 second Hamushi was damaged. He wasn't there for a second. Obviously, he stood up very quickly. He did want to fight, but yeah, it's when the referee says that it's a knockdown, you have to accept that. And Hamushi is a very emotional person, and he burns when he's fighting. There is a big fire inside him. I told you, he's got 500 people working for him. He's not supposed to be fighting. He's not supposed to be motivated to fight, but he still is because he loves fighting very much, and there is plenty of fire inside of him. But he needs to control that fire because that fire destroyed him yesterday, and he should have just listened to the referee. He should have gone to the corner, waited for the 8 count and continued. But it is what it is. It's a wrong reaction, an emotional reaction. But it's easy for me to sit here and blame him for that. You know, when you are in that ring, and when you're fighting with your heart and soul, and when you're giving everything that you've got, and when you believe that the referee is taking a decision which is a wrong decision and which will completely basically change the outcome of the fight, I can understand why he got so angry. But it is what it is, not the right reaction. He should have stayed composed. He should have just waited for the 8 count in his corner, and then he should have just come back and given his best. But that's the situation. And Sergey Brown, I told you even in the prediction, you know, you always have to have your hands up here because he's got those beautiful spinning back kicks, spinning heel kicks, or whatever you call them. He is very unpredictable. He's got a karate background, and he can kick very, very well. You remember the fight against Mohamed Touchassi. Mohamed was winning the first round up until that kick. But that's the case. Beautiful kick by Sergey Brown. He got the victory. He was very happy about it, you know, and rightfully so. And life goes on. And then, yes, we've got the main event, Tarik versus Bahram. Obviously, that was the cherry of the cake, the cherry on top of the cake. Beautiful knockdown by Bahram in the first round. It was actually a jab which knocked Tarik down, but I've also spoken with Mori Krom, and Mori also told me that Bahram is extremely powerful. The power which he possesses in his hands is crazy. So Bahram knocked Tarik down in the first round. Even Tarik himself said in the post-fight interview that he really needs to wake up. In the first round, he is always sleeping. He needs to get badly hurt or severely hit, or he needs to get damaged a little bit to wake up and to find his rhythm, to find his pace. And that's exactly what happened. He got knocked down in the first round. He stood up, and then he threw some very beautiful combinations in the second, third, fourth, and fifth rounds. You know, he was combining body and head very, very well. Beautiful left hook, beautiful right hook, uppercuts also, solid low kicks. Just very, very technical kickboxing from Tarik. The videos before the fight, the Glory Fight Week, Inside Glory Fight Week videos, I could see that Tarik was working very well on the pads, just combining his hands but also his kicks, and I think that's beautiful to see. I believe that Tarik Khbabez is a very complete kickboxer. He himself said that he had not really been working on the kicks before his fight against Massaboyev. Well, he definitely did that before his fight against Bahram, and you could see that was visible in the fight. He worked very well with the low kicks. He was combining head, body, and legs. He was chopping the legs with the low kicks, throwing beautiful hooks, beautiful uppercuts, beautiful inside boxing combined with low kicks. So very technical, high-level Dutch-style kickboxing from Tarik. Bahram also did have his moments, of course, very explosive, beautiful knees, beautiful high kicks, just front kicks to the face. But that was Tarik's night. Again, a close and competitive fight, a very beautiful matchup, and Bahram announced his retirement from kickboxing. I'm not sure if that's really his retirement. He was obviously very disappointed with the decision taken by the judges, and I believe that did have a big influence on his words and his decision to announce that he is quitting kickboxing. I'm also pretty sure that Bahram could potentially move to another sport. I believe that Bahram does have a lot of offers for mixed martial arts, and that wouldn't surprise me. I'm pretty sure bare knuckle boxing have also approached him. I'm sure that he can easily find a place to fight. I hope he stays at Glory, because he's probably, I actually forgot to mention, but he's definitely the most entertaining fighter within Glory, and he needs to stay at Glory because we enjoy watching him fight. But yeah, yesterday it wasn't his best night. Still, he put on a very, very solid performance. But I believe that Tarik deserved to get the victory. And yeah, let's see what happens with Bahram, because he mentioned that also against Leay Richters, the first time he got robbed, in his opinion, which I can a little bit, I could kind of agree with that in that tournament fight. So, you know, unfortunate for Bahram, but I hope he does not quit kickboxing. I hope he does not retire from kickboxing, and I wish Bahram all the best. A beautiful night of high-level kickboxing yesterday, and you know, I'm happy for Tarik Khbabez because, as I told you, he's a very humble man, a very polite man, and he's a hard worker with a big heart. And also on the microphone, beautiful words saying that he's against war and that he supports everyone in Palestine and in Ukraine. You know, beautiful words from him, and I think he deserves to be where he is because he's a very humble guy, a hard worker. He's not the most talented, gifted fighter in the world, but he's definitely one of the most hard-working ones, and his hard work has been paying off, and once again he's the champion. Thank you very much, guys, for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to follow Workout International. You know I've got a big journey here in Thailand, so I truly need your support. Sky's the limit for me, for you. Let's go Workout International. Oos.